Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into today's video. So today we are going to be doing some really cute almond nails. So a little bit earlier today, literally like maybe 2 hours ago, I had two main ideas for this nail set that I wanted to do, and that is disco and cats. And I was like, okay, I have to figure out a way to combine these two. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just sit down and kind of plan these out with you guys and just like see what we come up with. I have a rough idea of what I want to do exactly, but not everything is completely set in stone. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So here is what my nails are looking like today. They are pretty rough and honestly they just need a little bit of help. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with a little bit of nail prep. So I'm first gonna take this cuticle pusher to just push back any of that excess skin. And I actually recently just switched over to a tool like this, and I feel like I like it just a little bit better than what I used to use, the typical like cuticle pusher. I don't know, I just feel like this one's a little bit more gentle on the cuticle area, and it's a lot easier to lift up without having to put too much force on the cuticle area. So yeah, so because I just did my nails recently, I don't really have too much to do, so I'm not really going to go too crazy during this step, and I'm just going to gently push them back using this tool. Also, if you are wondering why I normally don't do this nail, it is because I'm currently treating this nail for nail fungus. So grooming and cutting back the cuticles and filing over the surface too much can definitely make the process or the healing process a lot more, I guess, difficult, if that makes sense. So I have been refraining on cutting back my cuticles. Honestly, I don't really have too much issues with my cuticles growing super crazy. Like this is typically where it stops. And I haven't groomed my cuticles for almost at least 2 months on this nail. And this is what it's currently looking like. It's a little bit crusty, but honestly, I would rather deal with this than to have to prolong the healing process. So yeah, in case you were wondering, that's what's going on. Next, I'm gonna take this flame bit, I think that's what it's called. And while I'm using this bit, I always like to make sure that the bit is parallel to my nail plate. This will help to prevent any damage. As you can see, I do have a little bit of damage here. So yeah, this is what can happen when you don't hold your drill bits parallel to the surface of your nails. And over time, this can lead to lots of nail damage and just super thin and brittle nails. And for reference, I am using it on the lowest speed for my nail drill in specific, and that is 3000 RPMs. Next, I'm gonna go in with my cuticle nippers, and I'm only really gonna cut the sort of white and like crusty areas. Recently, I haven't really been doing too much with my cuticle area because it is so sensitive. And you know, I actually did have a cuticle infection on this nail not too long ago. And I'll be honest, this nail definitely gives me problems sometimes. So because of that, I am kind of just a little bit paranoid. So I don't really go too crazy with my cuticle area anymore, which I really shouldn't have been doing that anyways, but you know, I had to learn the hard way, I guess. So I'm really only just going to focus on the slight growth, not cutting too far into my skin. Next, I'm gonna take some nail clippers and I'm just gonna cut back the excess growth. And you guys, I think I'm finally gonna give up trying to grow my nails out. It's just, it doesn't work. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's in my DNA or something, but my nails are just so thin just naturally. And it doesn't make it any better that I used to really thin out my nails when I first started doing acrylic. Obviously because I didn't know what I was doing, but you know, I guess hindsight is 20/20. But yeah, I think I'm kind of just over trying to grow my nails out, and they just look so nice when they're grown out. But you know what? It's okay. I can always fake it and like make my nails longer with, you know, I guess nails or whatever. So that's cool. And I'm just gonna take a nail file and just file everything nice and even. All right, so all of the prep work is done. I'm just gonna go ahead and put on my peel off base coat next. So yeah, I'm gonna do that and I'll come right back. Okay, so my peel off base coat is fully applied, and I also went ahead and sized out all of my nail tips for today. And to cure these on, I'm gonna be using a little bit of base coat as always. Also, side note, the other day I actually went through and cleaned all of my bottles of gel polish, and I'm not joking when I say this. I had over 65 different gel polish bottles and they were all disgusting. So yeah, now my bottles are nice and clean. So if that bothered you, I hope this makes you feel better. Also, for anyone who's wondering, I do like to use base coat to glue these tips on because I'm working on top of a peel off base coat and glue does not like to stick on top of the gel polish. So using base coat works a lot better. But if you are doing your nails to last, I definitely recommend using a regular nail glue instead. Also, I will be using my gooseneck lamp. So in the comments of my last video, which if you haven't seen it, I will put it in the cards above, but I did mention that I don't know what this is called, and you guys mentioned that it's called either a pin cure lamp or a gooseneck lamp or a goose lamp. But yes, I'm going to be using these, and if you don't have one of these, I will leave one in the description box for you guys. These are super convenient for Gel X or even just something like this where you're gluing on some nail tips. And you could even also use this for like nail art purposes, like maybe you need to cure down something really quickly instead of sticking your entire hand in the lamp. So yeah, I definitely do recommend getting one of these. And once I have these nail tips on, I'm just going to throw them in my bigger lamp for about 60 seconds. As for my pinky nail, I will be kind of working on top of this as a press-on nail, and towards the end, I'll stick it on with a sticky tab. So for the remainder of the video, as you guys have seen from my last two uploads, this one is going to stay bare for probably most of the video. So if that bothers you, I do apologize. I'm going to be honest though, I've been doing this for what, like maybe a month or so, maybe a little bit over a month. And yes, it's very tiring having to kind of do a press-on every single time I sit down to do a video. So if this bothers you, I am so sorry. It bothers me as well. So hopefully my pinky nail heals up really soon and I can get back to doing nails the way I would normally do them. So yeah, for now we're just going to put this to the side. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and cut down my nails using my tip cutters. This is the one that has the backing so that the tips don't go flying everywhere. I will say though that it kind of gets annoying because it's so small and short, so I'm not able to cut as much of the tip off as I want, but it is pretty convenient, so I don't really mind too much. So for today, I think maybe I'm going to stick with maybe almond nails. I was thinking square just now, but I don't know. So first I'm just going to cut them down, and like I said, I can't really cut too much off with these tip cutters. So yeah, actually, I think I'm just gonna take this off. This is much better. Okay, so I think I might wanna cut them to maybe about here. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good length. And now I'm going to take my straight edge nail clippers and I'm going to go ahead and cut them into the almond shape. Actually, like just looking at them, I think I actually want to do maybe almondetto. So maybe we'll do that instead. So I think this is the shape that I want to go for today. And I'm just going to do the same thing to the rest of these nails. And now I'm going to take my nail file and just make sure that the shape is nice and perfect. Okay, so for today, we are actually going to be doing some polygel nails. So before we do anything, I'm going to go over these with a layer of base coat. And I'm curing this for about 30 seconds. So for today's application, I'm pretty much going to keep this entire nail set clear because we're going to be doing a lot of things on top. So I'm not going to go in with any nude or anything because I think I have a few plans for the nail art I want to do a little bit later. So I'm just going to take my Makartt clear polygel, and this is going to be the entire portion of the application. And we're just going to put the clear on the entire surface of this nail. And just for reference, I am using 70% isopropyl alcohol. I honestly think that most of the percentages of alcohol kind of work. I haven't had any issues with 70%. I've used 97%, I think, in the past, either 97 or 91, I can't remember. But for the most part, they tend to work pretty well. So yeah, if you are a little bit skeptical, yeah, I am using 70% and it's working pretty well. So while we are here, I figured we could kind of catch up a little bit. So as you guys know, I have literally been gone for probably about almost a month. I think the last time I had posted my last upload, which was the super long and like springy sort of like summer nails, that was uploaded like literally a month ago. And I just started posting again last week, and honestly, it was definitely not planned. But as you guys know, before I left, I was dealing with some things that I mentioned before. So the first thing being that I was, of course, dealing with a cuticle infection, which is so not fun. If you've had it before, then you know that it's honestly just so annoying and so much maintenance, and it can just really take up a lot of your time. And also, it was just making me like really like just annoyed and depressed. And I was like, you know what? I just need to step back and focus on this. And then of course, there were like some other things that were really just getting in the way of filming. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a sit back from filming and just take a breather, I guess. And it was honestly so worth it. I definitely recommend taking a break every once in a while if you can afford to, or even if you just have the time to, like, just take some time to yourself whenever you feel like you need to. I think it's so important to just kind of remember that it's okay to like not be able to do something. It's okay to feel like, you know, your energy is depleted and you kind of just like need to reset. It happens to all of us and it's okay to embrace that. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was not planning on being gone for an entire month. I was actually planning on being gone for probably like a week, but somehow that week turned into 26 days. So yeah, I don't know. But honestly, it was such a good month being gone because I definitely learned a lot about just different things. And one thing I like to do when I'm dealing with a hard time or just things aren't going my way is I like to kind of reflect on it and say, you know, what can I learn from this? What can I take from this? And I definitely learned a lot of valuable lessons about one, nail care, of course. By the way, I am done with this nail, so I'm just gonna pop this in for about 60 seconds. The second thing I will say that I learned in terms of this month vacation is the idea that like it's okay to ask for help. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that I have learned, because when it comes to my pinky, I've literally been trying to cure this fungus since I was probably at least 10 years old. And that's kind of a story that I don't really want to talk about too much because I don't want to trigger anyone who is also dealing with the same thing or has dealt with the same thing, especially when you're dealing with issues like this as a child. It can be kind of triggering, so I won't dive too much into that. But yeah, I have been kind of like trying to figure out what to do about it on my own since I was a kid. And I think one of the main reasons for that is because I just was not comfortable asking for help because I was so hell-bent on like being independent and like doing things for myself. And as a younger sibling, like I have one older sister, and being a younger sibling, I was like, you know what? I want to feel responsible. I want to feel like I know what I'm doing in life. But as a quick reminder, okay, if you are dealing with the same things of feeling pressured by society to be independent, especially as a woman and especially as a Black woman, do not be afraid to admit that sometimes you need help, okay? You can't solve everything by yourself, and that is absolutely 100% okay. Just remember, like, I know you were not expecting this, but just remember that it's okay to seek help and to be vulnerable enough to ask for help. And so, you know what? I will say that I actually am very thankful for having to deal with this sort of issue, because otherwise I would still be beating myself up. So that month was definitely very reflective for me. I also got a lot of free time to kind of just get back into my hobbies and spend time with myself and just get into different things that I haven't been able to in such a long time. Recently, I haven't really like been watching TV shows or anything like that too often, but I have been really trying to get into reading, which is so unlike me. Anyone in my personal life knows that I do not read that often. Reading is honestly just very difficult for me because I just can't focus. I am really bad at focusing, like literally on anything, especially reading. But I recently just finished a book that I got from my sister, and that book is called The Lost Village, and I actually really enjoyed that book. So from then I decided that I wanted to go ahead and get some more books. So I got 2 new books, which I'm very excited about. I have started the first one, and for anyone who again knows me, knows that I love horror and just things that are disturbing and dark and like grimy. So the first book I got is Stephen King's It, which I have tried to read in the past, but I never really finished it. And the second book I got is House of Leaves. And if you are very much paranoid, do not read that book. Like literally just at all, don't read it. And I'm very interested in, again, like horror and dark themes. That book has literally been making me like so paranoid at night. But other than that, I have been enjoying it. So that's some things that I have been doing. Let me know what some of your favorite dark and disturbing books are if you're into that type of thing. But yeah, I would love to know what you guys are currently reading at the moment. And if you have read House of Leaves and you've completed it, let me know what you guys think, because I feel like I was so drawn in by this book because there's so many different ways to read it, because it's so just like eclectic and different. And honestly, I was not expecting to see what I saw when I opened the book. I was like, whoa, like, wow, that's interesting. I kind of like that. But yeah, if you read it, definitely let me know what you guys think of it in the comments. So I did these 2 nails, and as you can see, I'm starting on my 3rd one. There isn't really anything else I wanted to mention as for like my life. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and finish the application, and I will come back. Okay, so the application is done for now. Like I said, I will be doing this nail a little bit later, but now we're ready to go ahead and start shaping up these nails. But before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and quickly wipe off the sticky layer caused by the polygel. So I'm just gonna get rid of the sticky layer using just a little bit of alcohol. And if you're wondering why you need to do this, it's because once you start to shape these up using a nail file or even a nail drill, it will definitely gunk up the surface of your files and your drills because of the like uncured polygel on top of this. So you want to make sure to remove this beforehand. Okay, so I have my dust collector ready, and as you can see, I do have a little like thin sheet underneath the top lid, and it's kind of like a dryer sheet almost, and it just kind of like helps to prevent the filter from getting super dirty. So I'm gonna go ahead and start shaping up these nails using my ceramic bit, and I'm just gonna work this over the entire surface. As you guys know, when I'm working on top of like almond or anything that's kind of tapered, I do like to file over the entire surface with a drill bit, and then usually when I'm working with something like square nails or even stiletto, I will use a nail file. But of course, feel free to do whatever works best for you. So next I'm gonna go in with my 8080 grit nail file just to kind of file the undersides and just correct the shape a little bit. So like I said, I did have this little thin sheet inside of it, and I just want to show you how much dust this actually catches. So if you lift this top up, it actually holds quite a good bit of dust. I think it probably prevented, I'd say, a good amount from actually getting in there. It's not perfect, but it is definitely kind of convenient for if you have to like do a soak off or it's just super dusty. So before we start the nail art, I'm just going to quickly wipe off my nails with a little bit of alcohol just to remove any excess dust. Okay, so now we're onto the nail art, and I think I'm just going to take out a bunch of colors and see what happens. I don't know exactly what colors I want to use yet, and I think I kind of want to show you guys all of the gel polishes and like how I sorted them, because I used to have them in like a bin and it was just like all mixed up and it was gross. So I'm gonna try and zoom this out, and yeah, we'll see. Okay, so this is the best I can do. I'm sorry if it looks kind of weird. I have it in 0.5x, so it's a little bit weird. And this is also like my camera rig, so don't mind that. But this is a huge, like, kind of suitcase almost for gel polishes, and it's double-sided. So it's this side with, I believe, maybe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7, 14, 21. And then this row has 9. So 30 on this side, and then I'm sure it's 30 on the other side. And then if you flip it, and then on the other side, it looks like this. These are the colors that I don't really use. To be honest, a lot of these colors I was sent from No Reserve LA and Madam Glam. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys this little like thing. And honestly, if you don't have a nail room, which as you guys know, I do not have a nail room, this definitely comes in handy, especially if you start to get more and more supplies. Having something to kind of sort them out and keep them nice and neat is a good idea. So I will make sure to have this linked in my description box. I think this was maybe about 50 bucks. So yeah, I will link it down below. All right, so I have my mixing plate ready, and I only took out a small collection of colors because, as I mentioned before, these nails are pretty much just going to be clear. So that's really going to be like what shines through the most. At least I think so. Again, I'm not exactly sure on what I'm doing today. So I'm just going to put a couple of colors onto this mixing plate, and I will come right back. Okay, so this is my color palette for now. I don't exactly know if I want to add more colors. Okay, so now I think I want to work on these nail by nail. So I think I'm going to start off, of course, with my pointer finger. So for my pointer finger, I think I'm going to do a clear to pink glitter aura. So I might actually go with this color and kind of just build it up in the center. But I think what I first want to do, kind of to make sure that the color is really there, is maybe put an actual like gel polish in the center, or maybe even use like eyeshadow just to kind of help give me that pink background. So yeah, I'm gonna actually do that. So I'm gonna take some matte top coat, of course, and this is just gonna help the eyeshadow stick a little bit better. And I'm just gonna paint this over the entire surface of the nail. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for about 60 seconds. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my eyeshadow palette and, of course, my little eyeshadow brush. Y'all, I think my eyeshadow brush is, yeah, she's, oh my god, I just pulled out like 15 hairs. Anyway, I think my brush is honestly sick of me. Like, I might have to just get some more because this one's kind of done. So I'm thinking I want to do a color that kind of matches this pink here. Maybe a mix between this pink and this purple. So let's just try this out. And I'm just going to keep this in the center. Now, one thing about using matte top coat and this eyeshadow method is you really want to make sure that the layer of matte top coat is applied nice and smooth. Otherwise, you're going to see like inconsistencies in the eyeshadow when you go on top of the matte top coat. So make sure that before you cure the matte top coat that you allow it to kind of self-level and just kind of smooth out on its own before you throw it in. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to stop here. So now I'm going to take the short liner brush and I'm just going to start applying this glitter to the center of the nail. And I really like have to make sure that I get this right on the first try because I don't want to do this aura over. I'm just going to apply it to the center just like this. Just going to apply a pretty generous amount. And now I'm going to take this ombre brush and I'm just going to kind of ombre this out on the edges. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for about 30 seconds. Okay, so before I move on, I'm actually gonna go over this nail with another layer of matte top coat because I do wanna do some more with like pearl powder and stuff. Okay, so let me do that and I will come right back. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna take this cat eye gel, and this is a Beetles cat eye gel. I'll make sure to have this in my description box. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this blue and put some onto my mixing plate, and we're actually gonna use this to draw some stars. So I'm gonna take a little bit onto the short liner brush. So far it's pretty sheer. I don't exactly know what I can do to like kind of make it more like in your face, but maybe I'll add like a pearl powder or something on top of this. Okay, you can't really see much of it, but I think that's good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cure this. And I think I want to take this pearl powder and put it on top of the stars. I think it might kind of help it pop just a little bit more. So I'm gonna take just a tiny bit of this and I'm just gonna focus this on top of the stars. Okay, I think that looks kind of cool. Now, last minute thing. I think I might want to add some blue to this nail, like maybe some blue aura in like the corners or whatever. I'm just going to take a little bit of blue, and I have it on my lap, that's why you can't see it. I'm going to take a little bit of blue and put it in this bottom corner. And maybe we can add like a tiny bit of like lime green in this corner. Okay, I think that looks kind of cool. Okay, and now I'm gonna take this chrome gel paint, and this isn't the shiniest chrome gel paint, but it's also not that bad. Also, why is it like bronzy like that? What is that? So I'm just gonna take my long liner brush, and I think I'm just gonna do some detailing in this corner and probably in this corner as well. So I'm just gonna take this pretty slow and I'm gonna see what I can come up with. Okay, I think that's kind of cool. It's not really what I was going for, but it's interesting, so it's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for about 30 seconds. Okay, and the last thing I want to do on this nail is add maybe a couple of rhinestone bubbles. I'm just gonna place a little bit of rhinestone glue onto my mixing plate, and I'm just gonna take my short liner brush and just pick up a little bit of gel, and I'm just gonna place it onto the nail. Okay, so kind of a last minute thought. I think I want to add some of these like smaller, like different shaped gems, maybe in like the upper corner of this nail. I'm just going to place a little bit of rhinestone glue in this upper corner, and I'm just going to pick up a couple of these gems, and I think I want to stick to maybe blue and pink for this. Okay, I think it's just subtle enough to kind of not take away from the other designs, but it still kind of like has its own little flair, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cure this. Okay, so this nail is practically done. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this off with a layer of top coat. Okay, so now we're gonna jump to our middle finger. And for this nail, we're actually gonna be adding a cat sticker, which I'm very excited about because I've had these stickers for quite a while and I haven't figured out a way to use them yet until now. But before we get to that, it's actually going to be a pink and blue like aura like underneath it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do like pink in the upper corner and then blue down here. So of course, we're gonna start off with a layer of matte top coat. Okay, so I kind of want to use one of these glitters now, and I think I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to put it on top of this blue section. So before I move on, I'm going to go over this with a layer of base coat because the matte is kind of like throwing me off. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna add the cat sticker. Unfortunately, it literally only comes with 2 sheets, but the cats are really cute, so it's fine. And I think I wanna use, maybe I'll use this cat. I think this cat's really cute. I'm just gonna take some tweezers and just kind of lift it up. And I'm just gonna place it right in the center of this nail. And I actually saw this one nail by Ali Cool Cat that I thought was super cool. And I kind of want to do the same thing here. So she had a cat in the center and then there were like white pearls, or I think pink pearls going around it. So I think I'm going to do that. But also I have a very weird feeling that it's not going to look right because the ombre in the back. So let me try this again. I think I actually want to peel this up and then give it like a white background. Okay, so I'm going to take this white gel polish. And I think I'm actually going to mix this with a little bit of clear because I do want it to be kind of milky. And I'm just going to paint a white dot in the center using this dotting tool. Okay, hopefully that's big enough. I might maybe make the circle a little bit bigger. And it doesn't need to be perfect because again, I'm gonna like border these with pearls, so it can kind of be a little bit messy. Okay, I think that's big enough. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this. So now I'm gonna go around these with these little pink pearls, and I'm hoping that, whatever. Okay, I'm really hoping that this pink kind of goes because honestly, I feel like I might have to go with maybe white pearls because I don't know, I don't feel like these kind of work. Okay, so I'm just gonna use these little white pearls here, and I'm also gonna use a little pink bow that I got not too long ago. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go around the entire white circle except for like the very top part because that's where I'm gonna put the bow at the very end. So with that nail that I saw by Ali Cool Cat, they also did like some leaves and flowers around the cat. So I kind of like that. I kind of want to incorporate a little bit of green into this nail set. I'm going to take this dark green and I'm going to mix that green with a little bit of white. And I think it also needs a little bit of yellow. And I'm also going to create a lighter version of this green over here. So I'm going to start with this lighter green and I'm just going to paint a couple of leaves around this cat. Okay, so I just went ahead and did some like darker and lighter leaves. I added a little bit of dimension and I also added a couple of flowers, stars, and dots just to kind of make it look a little bit more interesting. So again, the reason I left this open here is because once I finish this nail set, I'm gonna put the bow right there. So because this nail is technically done, I'm just gonna go over this with a layer of top coat. Okay, so these two nails are done and they look so cute together. So now we're gonna move on to the sort of quote unquote disco nail. And I have these little silver pieces and this is really what inspired this nail set. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I could make a really cute nail set with this look. So I'm actually gonna be using these silver pieces. And yeah, this is what they look like. They're little like holographic plastic little squares. So I'm just gonna set this to the side for now. And what we first have to do is create a chrome background for these to go on top of. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of black gel polish and I'm gonna mix this with a little bit of top coat. And for anyone who's wondering, when you mix it in with top coat, it makes the burnishing process a lot like smoother and it's super like chrome-like and shiny. And you really wanna make sure that you are for certain using top coat and not base coat, because base coat's gonna give it a kind of dull and grainy slash kind of glittery look, and if that's not what you're going for, then you're definitely not going to be happy with using base coat. So I'm just going to mix a good amount of base coat into this black. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint the entire surface of this with this sort of see-through black. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for about 30 seconds. So now I'm gonna take my silver chrome powder and I'm just gonna take whatever is on the top first and just start rubbing this onto the nail. And as you can see, it's super shiny. Like, I don't even think the camera does it justice, but it's really shiny and this is exactly how I like my chrome to look. And now what I think I want to do is create a pink chrome border. So I'm going to just outline this nail using that sheer black polish. And I'm basically going to be like repeating the same process. Okay, I'm actually gonna go in with this color. Sorry for how messy it is. There seems to have been a little altercation. A freak accident, if you will. Okay, and again, I'm just gonna take whatever's on the top and rub this on. Again, I really hope it doesn't get on the silver, so I'm gonna try and focus this on what I just applied. Oh, that is so cool. It kind of like has this holographic feel as well. So not only is it pink, but it's also like literally every color of the rainbow. That's so cool. I feel like on camera it doesn't even do it justice, but that is so cool. Oh my gosh. Let's close this up before something bad happens. Now we're gonna get into these little silver pieces. This is gonna be pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna place these little squares in the center of this nail using a little bit of rhinestone glue. And I'm trying not to apply too much because I don't want it to be super thick. So I'm just gonna place these square by square. And this is supposed to resemble a disco ball. So I kind of want to make sure that they're nice and straight and that there's a little bit of a gap in between them. Okay, so this is what the nail is looking like so far, and already this is so cool. Like, I love this so much. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually paint a star in the center of this. So I'm gonna bring my palette back, and what I'm gonna do first is paint this with a layer of base coat. Obviously, I just wanna make sure that I'm working on top of a smooth surface because of these little plastic pieces. And I'm not necessarily going over the entire nail. I kind of just wanna cover the holographic pieces. And I'm kind of flipping it over before I cure this, just to make sure that it self-levels nicely. And I'm gonna go ahead and cure that for about 30 seconds. Now, before I continue, I'm just gonna wipe off the sticky layer from that base coat, and I'm just wiping it off on the areas where I applied the base coat because I don't wanna accidentally get rid of that chrome. And the reason I'm doing this is because sometimes when you like do line art on top of base coat, it kind of starts to bloom on the edges, and I don't like that. So I think I'm gonna start out by using maybe this hot pink here, and we're gonna draw a star in the very center of this nail. Okay, I think that looks good enough. I am gonna go ahead and cure this for about 30 seconds. Now I'm gonna create a smaller star inside of this pink one using this purple color. And then lastly, I'm gonna do the same thing using white. So this nail is done, and now I'm gonna finish this with a layer of top coat. So now we are on to our thumbnail, and this one's kind of simple but also kind of complicated. So the first thing I'm gonna do is create a sort of cyan blue aura in the center of this nail. So of course we're gonna start off with a layer of matte top coat just to make sure that the eyeshadow sticks perfectly. So now I'm going back to my palette. I think I'm gonna use this light blue here. Okay, so for this nail, I'm actually gonna go over this with a layer of top coat because I do wanna put a little bit of pearlescent powder on this nail. Just a little bit of a side note, as you guys can probably tell, this is a very like off the cuff sort of nail set. Like normally when I do freestyles, I draw them out, I plan them out for probably like 2-3 days, maybe one day if you know I'm really on a roll, but normally it takes a couple of days just to kind of get a little bit of like inspiration or whatever. But I honestly wanted to challenge myself and see if I can come up with something like literally like while I'm sitting down. And surprisingly, this is looking really good, which is odd. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for about 60 seconds. All right, so I'm gonna go over this thumbnail with this like sort of white pearlescent powder. And I do think that this kind of shifts slightly yellow, so hopefully it won't be like too ugly. I don't know, but we'll see. If anything, I can just change it to a different color. Okay, it's not terrible. I don't think that I want to change it, but it's not really what I had in mind. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this solid nail glue gel and I'm actually gonna be creating a 3D bow with this. I'm gonna place a big old blob of this on the top, and essentially what I'm gonna do is roll it into like a little like snake, and I don't really know how much I'm gonna need for this. I'm just gonna put it on this top. I'm first gonna roll it into a ball just to make sure that the tube is nice and smooth, and then I'm just gonna roll it out. And I don't really care about it having like dust or anything in it because I'm just gonna be going over this with chrome powder anyways. So I'm just gonna pick up this piece, and I'm really scared. I'm going to create a bow shape. Okay, I almost have enough. So for now, I'm just gonna fix this little area, and I'm just gonna make a little tiny tube for the last leg. I'm just gonna place, ooh, perfect. I'm just gonna place it right where it stopped. Okay, I think that looks really cute. Now before I cure this, I think I'm gonna put a little like star gem in the middle of this. So I have these little stars right in this corner, and I think I wanna use this blue one and just place it right in the middle of the bow. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cure this. So now we're gonna go back to the silver chrome. I'm just gonna paint the entire bow using this chrome gel paint. Okay, so I actually ended up going over the bow with a little bit of chrome powder just because I feel like this was too dull and a little bit too yellow. And I did want it to kind of match more with the chrome that's on this nail. So yeah. Now I think lastly what I want to do is maybe add a couple of pearls, maybe, I don't know, and maybe a couple more stars because I feel like I want more stars in this nail set. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a couple of pearls to this little corner here. Oh, and I also have these, which I've never used, so maybe I'll throw some of these in as well. Okay, so I think that's all that I want to do for this nail. I think I'm just going to go ahead and finish this off with a layer of top coat. I honestly cannot think of anything else to put on this nail, so yeah, I think that's it for this nail. Okay, so these 4 nails are fully done, and now I have to work on my pinky nail. So for this nail, I'm thinking I want to do a clear to purple aura in the middle. So I'm just going to put on a layer of matte top coat on this nail. So now I'm going to go in with this lilac purple here, just in the center of this nail. So now I think I actually want to go in with this holographic glitter, and I actually thought I wasn't going to use it, but I think for this nail, it will be perfect. And before we move on, I'm going to go over this with a little bit of base coat. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cure on a tiny little star in this upper right corner. And I think I want to use this pink color. Okay, so real quick, I think I actually want to do a little bit of like marble, I guess, if that's what you would call it. I don't know. I'm just going to put a layer of base coat down on top of this, and I'm going to take my dotting tool, and I think I actually want to do this pink, mainly because it has glitter in it, and I feel like this would be really cool. I'm gonna go back to this chrome gel paint, and I'm essentially just gonna create an outline of the star. Like, I feel like I have to do it instead of like explain it. So kind of like that, and I think I'm gonna keep doing it to probably about here. Okay, and I'm gonna finish this off with a layer of top coat. Okay, so I did go ahead and put on the pinky nail, and I also glued on the little bow as well. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off this nail set with a little bit of cuticle oil. And that completes today's set. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this one. This nail set definitely gave me a run for my money. It was definitely a bit challenging, and I definitely got stuck in some places, but it was so worth it in the end. I love this nail set. This is probably my favorite one in a good while, so I want to know what you guys think of this one in the comments as well. I would say that for sure, my favorite nail is definitely the cat, and of course, that disco nail. Like, I just love it so much. If I were to put this nail set on a scale of 1 to 10, of course, I would give this a 10 out of 10. Like, I literally can't find one thing that I don't like about this nail set, so I'm very happy with this one. And I know that this one was a little bit longer and definitely very chatty, but it has been a while, and I definitely just missed connecting with you guys. And I had a lot of updates to give, so it was definitely bound to happen, me just rambling on and on as always. But even still, I really do hope that you guys found this to be enjoyable. As for my next nail set, definitely let me know what you guys want to see in the future. I know that you guys have been asking for more earthy nail sets, so that is definitely something that I will be doing very soon. But overall, I'm honestly just so happy to be back, and I can't wait to bring you guys so many more beautiful nail sets in the future. But as always, I wanted to thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I will see you guys in the next one.